Hello students, this is the part 2 of the chapter Introduction to Biotechnology. Now what is biotechnology? So it is the technique of bringing about improvements in living organisms by artificial genetic changes and by hybridization for human welfare. Now this includes technique of genetic engineering and also tissue culture. With the help of biotechnology, we can withstand the environmental stress, the vaccine production can be done, early diagnosis of any type of disease can be done, organ transplantation, cancer research, production of artificial skin, cartilages, etc. can be possible because of biotechnology, and all of this thing can be done in the laboratories. First is tissue culture. So ex vivo growth of cells or tissue in an aseptic nutrient-rich medium is called as tissue culture. And nowadays a complete organism can also be developed from just a single cell or from a tissue with help of tissue culture technique. So what we require is we require a liquid, solid or gel-like medium which is prepared from agar, which supplies nutrient and energy which is necessary for the tissue culture, and this technique has given bloom in our environment. So this is how the tissue culture process is done. The growing part, the bulb corn of the plant is taken. It is then treated with primary treatment through which reproduction and multiplication happens of that plant. There will be shooting and rooting of that plant. It is then transferred into different containers for primary hardening process, and then the secondary hardening process is again done in another container, and those plants are then planted to get the source plant. So this is how the tissue culture process works. Now, because of biotechnology, there has been changes in different agricultural management. Like nowadays, there are GM crops, that is genetically modified crops, have been introduced into the market, in which the DNA of the crops has been changed, and if the things that we want to include in the crops that can be added. The environmental stress can be reduced because of the GM crops. As we all know, the population is increasing day by day. To fulfill the needs of each and every person, biotechnology has been really helpful. Now, as GM crops are resistant to insects, pests, pathogens, and also to chemical weedicides, so use of harmful chemicals can also be avoided. And due to the use of these GM crops, we can even improve the nutritive value of the crop. So in this way, seeds can be produced with better quality. The GM crops are nowadays used in large scales. Nowadays we have made many types of GM crops, like different rice has been made, the golden rice, the Vaishali tomato is there, BT cotton is there. So all of these techniques have been useful to improve our living, and the green evolution is being achieved through tissue cultures, and the country like India and all the developing countries can meet the needs of the population which is increasing day by day. Now biotechnology can also be applied in floriculture, nurseries and forestry. Now nurseries are necessary for various purposes, like for growing gardens or for afforestation, reforestation. So with the help of biotechnology, we can do tissue cultures, and the tissue culture can be used to grow these plants on a large scale, which can bear fruits and flowers of better quality. Fully grown plants can be produced in a very shorter duration. Now plants can also be grown on a large scale even if pollination or germination of seed is not available. So some plants which require very specific climate or very specific environment, even those things can be maintained with the help of biotechnology. So in a bioreactor, cells can be grown in more nutritive medium, and they can be protective from the pathogens. The bioreactors are also useful for producing the plantlets on a very large scale. Even rare and endangered plants can be produced, and even the plants which have got extinct, if we have the cells of those plants can also be cultured, and again we can regrow the plant. Another the use of biotechnology is agrotourism. So this is also a new method in which plantlets of flowering plants or medicinal plants, ornamental plants, all of this can be produced at a very large scale if you have a good amount of land. And by growing some of these plants, we can also fulfill our needs. You can be self-sufficient, and agrotourism centers can also be developed where chickus or guava, which are some regional fruits, can be grown. Then the shade, which gives the local, it gives exotic and attractive plants to the local people. Butterfly garden can be made. Organic vegetable and fruits can be grown in such places. So people visit these type of places for doing a picnic or enjoying themselves, and even they get to learn about different types of plants and different types of medicinal plants which are there, and this is how even you can earn. Now there is a field which is agro complementary occupations, which include animal husbandry, poultry farming, sericulture. All these types can be included, and with the help of biotechnology, people can even earn their livelihood. So first is animal husbandry. There are number of cattle, there are variety in them. The milk production is there, cleanliness in the cattle shed. All of this health care is to be maintained. And in India, animal husbandry is practiced for milk production, and it is a normal method which the farmer use. The cows, the buffaloes, they are raised for the milk. The bulls and the male buffaloes, they are used for lifting the heavy loads. So you can mix breed the two types of breed, and a new breed can be generated. Now all these type of animal husbandry, they also require proper care of the cattle, which is necessary, and also some methods can be used to increase the yield of the milk. So a balanced diet which includes all the constituents of the food is given to the animals. Cattle shed should be clean and there should be ventilation from the roof. The cattle should also be regularly vaccinated, and through this people can earn their livelihood. Next is poultry farming. The main objective behind this is to develop new breeds or varieties by doing a cross between them. Like Indian varieties can be crossed with the foreign varieties, and this can produce good quality of chicken. They can even develop a high ability to withstand the temperatures, because chickens are very prone to increase temperature or decrease temperature, so you have to protect them, and these things can be included with the new breed. They can also use the byproduct of agricultural as their poultry feeds. There are different types of varieties in the chicken, like we have Rhode Island Red, New Hampshire is there, Black Rock is there. So these are few variety of chicken which are reared for their eggs and for the meat. Another thing is sericulture. Now, silkworms are reared for the production of silk. You must know that silk is a very costly fiber, and the silk cloth is obtained from the silk thread, and silk thread is obtained from the silk moth. So, Bombyx mori is the most commonly used variety for this purpose. There is a life cycle of the silk moth which consists of 4 stages. There is egg, larva, pupa, and the adult. Now what happens is they take thousands of eggs, and these eggs are then incubated artificially, and these incubation period is very short time. Then larvae hatches out from the eggs and are released on the mulberry plant. The larvae are nourished, and they are feeding on the mulberry plant leaf, and after feeding for 3 to 4 days the larvae move to the branches of the mulberry plant. Now the silk thread is formed from the secretion of their salivary gland. So larvae spin this thread around themselves to form as a cocoon, and the cocoon, it is usually the spherical in shape. So 10 days before the pupa, it turns into the adult. All the cocoons, they are transferred into the boiling water, and due to the boiling water, the pupa which is there inside the cocoon, it dies, and we only have the silk fiber. So we can remove the silk fiber as it becomes loose. So these fibers, they are then unwound They are processed into the reels, and this is how the different types of silk threads together they are woven into fabric, and we get the silk saris or silk dresses, which are really very costly. Now there are also two types of silk. One is artificial silk and one is natural silk. So if you go to buy natural silk, it is very costly. If you go to buy artificial silk, it is much cheaper than the natural one.